Hello, YouTubers. Today's topic, and also Instagrammers, before I forget. On Instagram, do flip your camera around. I forgot this last time. So today I'm talking about why continue to show up on social media if things are not working or you're not seeing any significant change or impact. As you're joining me, wherever you may be in the world, do feel free to comment below wherever you may be on, whether it be on Instagram or on YouTube. So why continue to show up? This is a thought that came to mind as I was working remotely in a local cafe. And I thought about this. It can be frustrating, especially when things are changing. So we've seen significant changes with Facebook. And now people moved on to Instagram, and I was one of them. And things are significantly changing there as well. So that in itself, when you have a rhythm and you feel like, oh, things are now stagnating, some things can start to happen, and those are the mindset concerns. Okay, so I will go through like my prompters so that I keep in I keep within the time and do not go over as well. So do bear with me as I open like my notes as well. So these are just like prompters just to give you like some guidance as well, that if you're doing any live videos and you want to stay focused, what I do is on my screen, I have like two windows open and one of them is my notes. So that's my little tip for today. The first thing to consider is your intention and purpose. So what motivated you in the first place to start your business account, or it could be your brand personality account. So there, it helps to go back to intention and purpose. The reason for this is that we are all motivated by something. And I would hope that your initial intention and motivation was beyond getting likes and comments. Why this is important is that it will help you to remain motivated regardless of what's going on with the algorithmic changes on the platforms that you may be using. So when you know your greater intention, your reason why, and purpose in life, you're more likely to continue showing up and adding value to your prospective clients or your existing customers, whichever word that you may use that's relevant for you. So your grander purpose and intention is something that connects you every day, motivates you to wake up and to continue creating content, and to also feel connected to a purpose that is not seeking to just want to obtain sales, although that's great. We're all here for a reason. We're here to make money. Okay, so yes, that's there. But if you just only connected to likes, comments, and getting money as quickly as possible, or building the Insta fame, the likelihood is that you will find that your mindset will become more challenged, where you start to feel defeated. And the defeat comes in, oh, I'm not getting likes, I'm not getting comments, and I feel like I'm failing, where in reality, that's not accurate. Okay, so you have tools such as your analytical data, which will help you to, if you have created like an account, for instance, on Instagram, there's analytical data on all platforms that will help you to remain focused, to review your content after a while, after a prolonged period, to look at what's working well and what's not working well. So even if people are not liking, they're not commenting, your focus is on your business, your analytical data, your intention and your purpose, and you're reviewing that to become great at what you do in terms of adding value. So this would tie into number 2 nicely: consistency in content creation. How consistent are you in developing content on a regular basis? So if you're saying it's not working, have you only been showing up for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years? And have you been doing it on a regular basis, which means whatever you set your intention to, are you sticking to it? Okay, so Gary Vaynerchuk, if you follow him, he says show up every day. And some of that might be that you need to sacrifice in terms of showing up every day, and then defining how many times you show up every day and how will you show up. Are you willing to take more risk, to move beyond just written content and to step up in front of the camera? Okay, so you probably have watched like my previous video. If you haven't, the video is about how to overcome the imposter syndrome. So the imposter syndrome is about doing things more that challenge you. So that might also change things for you, especially if you feel like you're stuck. So if you're just only focusing on written content, could video then improve some of like the traction of what you're looking to build in terms of like engagement and connection with more prospective clients? So also remember that connection is not only on your timeline. The most value that you also may gain is people who contact you in the background. So people who send you messages to say, oh, I enjoyed your video, or I connected to what you said via Messenger. And I've had that happen to me where people have contacted me after 6 months, after a year, or immediately after I've completed like a live video, and they may not have commented on my or liked any of my content. So that again is also value of people connecting with you. So never forget that. And in terms of consistency in content creation, there's also something about adding back to connection. So whoever you're connected to on social media platforms, whether it be in communities or on your timeline, people who are following you, are you also reciprocating the same love that they're giving you? For instance, are you commenting on your top influencers post in terms of helping other people, or are you also liking or commenting back on other people's posts as well? That has to be mutually reciprocated. Obviously, you comment on everybody's post, but there's some leeway in that, some flexibility. So the more proactive you are in engaging, the likelihood is that people are going to be motivated to want to learn more about you or want to connect more with you. And in behind the scenes, there's also something about connecting with people, not with the intention of only, hey, look at what I've got. I know what your issue is or what your problem is. I can help you with it. That actually comes very salesy. It's about connecting and complimenting somebody on the work that they're doing, connecting with them on a level of being like a peer. Then people are can be more receptive to wanting to open up a dialogue with you, and then to also ask for some assistance should they feel that it's the right opportunity for them. I can talk about that like in another video altogether. If anything that I'm saying is resonating with you, do let me know by just commenting below. And also remember that if you're on YouTube, do press the subscribe button as well. So how long have you been doing it for was number 3, which I've also mentioned, is that keep in mind that in terms of if your intention is to build up your audience, it takes time. So it's about having patience to persevere through, keeping in mind the things I've talked about before, about your intention and purpose. It's so easy to fall back into, it's about me. Okay, so people don't like me, or things are not working, and you're only focusing on you. Remember that when you focus on a grander purpose and an intention of serving and helping other people, your obsession becomes something more different. You think about, how can I up level or 10x my content in order to address the problems and solutions that people are looking for? So when you are able to think in that way, then you start to refine your skills in a different way. You start to build up this image of a thought authority, not intentionally, but because your intention is to go out there, to be social listening, to be doing research and finding out, what are people talking about? What are the pain points? What solutions are they looking for? And then providing educational information. So this fits in nicely to number 4, which is, what else could you be doing if things are starting to be stagnant? So the first things that are coming to mind for me are Could I be going out more and networking? And in the back of my mind, yes, I know that's something that I need to be doing for myself. So I know that like this year, I intentionally chose to not do a lot of social networking events because some people also value the face-to-face contact. So could you be doing more of that in order to build up a new audience? That's what I'm going to do. So in the back of your mind, what else do you know to be true that you need to be doing in order to connect with more people on an authentic level so that you can either partner up, collaborate, or they're people who are curious about what you want to do that could potentially become your prospective clients. So remember, when you meet people on a one-to-one basis, again, it's not always about us. It's about when people ask you a question, the first initial thing you want to say, I do this, and this is how, like, and become all salesy. You want to take a step back and then ask that person more about them, their challenges, what have they overcome. When you start to put it more towards the other person, for instance, if they ask you, what do you do? You can throw it back to them. So, tell me more about you. Then I'll be able to see how we connect in terms of what I do. Then if I need be, I can explain it a little bit further. So as the person starts to explain what they do, then you're able to fit in the solution that you offer, which could potentially link to what they do. So when you put it in that way, then the likelihood is that they will probably retain what you have to say. Okay, so I know I could have answered that in a different way, but this is just giving you a scenario, and you can express it in the best way you know how. So the more you do it that way, the better. Less about what I do, the solution is more about the solution that you offer, the pain points that people are facing as well. I don't use business cards anymore. I use connections on social media. So when you're out and about, the best thing I do is I just say, let's link up on Instagram or LinkedIn. That way I remember people more. So it's also looking at what else could you do, is building up connections, less, disregarding business cards, and then connecting directly on social media going to benefit you? Potentially it could. It has for me. It has worked in the past. So then I'll hop on to number 5, which I've talked a little bit about, and I'll link in with number 6 as well, which is analytics and paid ads. So as you are building up your content, you're networking, you're focusing on your intention and your purpose, you're adding value, you're also looking at, from a business perspective, why you need to show up. It's a business. It's something that's your life passion, you're dedicated to. It's like a job. If people are not liking you in your job, will you just quit? No, you won't quit. So you want to, as part of your business, be looking at your analytics, and also don't just stop at the organic. Move on to paid ads, because any business owner, even the brick and mortar business, what we've been used to is billboards, or in the past there was billboards. If you saw them like on the motorway, in newspapers, businesses are advertising and looking at ways to maximize the spreading the word beyond word of mouth. So now you have the luxury of, via your analytics, to also use paid ads, whether it be using like your social media platforms or Google Ads. And that then develops a new type of like audience to connect with, who then get to know, like, and trust you. And then you can also extend it beyond that and use, develop automated systems such as sales funnels, which work on your behalf, speak on your behalf. Rather than you having to chase people, it's all automated. And I'll talk about that in another live video, should you wish to know more about it. So the organic method, which I'm doing, and I also mix it with paid ads, it can feel very painful, and it is. Why it's painful is because it's a slow process and it takes time for your content to reach a wider audience. Is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. Not only just focusing on the organic, but mixing it up a little bit. Why it's worth it is, think of it this way: you're building up your portfolio over a long period. So your portfolio is written content, whether it be on blogs, on social media sites, LinkedIn, and video format as well on YouTube. You're building up a portfolio of your evidence of your thought. So you being a thought leader, you being a creative or a specialist, when you approach somebody without even selling, you can be like, oh, I have like a YouTube channel or an Instagram account. Should you wish to learn more, do feel free to go to that account. Or before they even ask any information, people automatically are curious when you create content. But if you're approaching people, for instance, like in Messenger and offering like an opportunity, the first thing I do is I look at the person's profile and the trail of evidence to look at what else have they created that connects to the offer that they are talking about. And in most cases, the two connect, because often people are looking at more their sales focus and they disconnect from the content creation. So what you want to do is to be consistent with your offer. Okay, so if you feel like you've connected with somebody, remember that they're going to be motivated to want to look at your profile, your any links that you have, and then any content that you have developed. So if you haven't developed content on a consistent basis, the likelihood is that you're losing somebody. And if you haven't created automated systems that capture new leads, then the potential is that you're also losing the opportunity to automatically have increase your email list. And email still works. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I hope you have found what I've shared of value. And if you've got any specific questions, YouTube, I know that on the 18th of September, you can no longer message people. So feel free to connect with me via my Linktree link so you will be able to find my social networks and other way to private message me. I'm always open for coffee chats if you've got any other questions. If you haven't commented on any of my posts, you can also private message me. So that's the message for today. Bye for me for now, and thanks for connecting with me. I will add the prompters, 6 of them, the tips that I've provided, and expanded on my blog as well. So that's how I circulate or recycle my information, digital information, so that people can find it elsewhere as well. Bye for me for now. Until next time.